How shall we navigate the space that has been offered us by being here on Earth? And now, how shall the Earth keep us alive with all the things that are overwhelming us at the moment? This is a podcast called Grounded Wisdom. I am not your teacher, but we can walk the way together, minding the path before us, because having good company is as important as the journey and the destination. I hope I can be one of your companions on this short trek called life. Good day, everyone. At a moment in our history when the vision of peace is blurry, people tend to think it is time to learn warfare. What happens then? Shall we completely assimilate or become part of the clarity of war and further then reinforce the vagueness of peace? Shall we depart from the path of attending to peace and draw our attention away from it? In a period when social media was overtaking the power of broadcast media, there was a lot of apprehension over social media controlling our minds. Back then, people said, "But we choose our content in social media. It is us who make the choices. Social media cannot control us because we choose." People also used to say the same thing in watching broadcast media, that they could always change the channel. That's what they said, that they had a choice. Indeed, choice is the key. Do we really have a choice? Are we choosing from what the world has to offer or just what can be sold to us? Are we not also free to create our own choices? A lot of violence is sold to us and we don't realize it, because they don't ask us to act violently, but first to feel violently. First, they come for our emotions. Who are they? Well, content creation is a global industry. People create content that we click, we say we choose, and that gets sold to us. But don't worry, friends. This is where you'll see your power. Your power is to seek and create content you like. The artificial intelligence is a mechanism that can learn from us. The content creation economy is double the size of the filmmaking industry because they overlap. That's about $200 billion in size when you combine the film industry and the content creation economy. When you hear this, do the juices flow in your mind, making you feel intrigued and challenged? This is the size of people selling us ideas. And that's the point. We get to choose what we pay attention to, not just by swiping left or right or by liking, putting a heart, or ignoring, scrolling up. The best way to create the world that is served to us is to seek, to be a seeker, not a chooser or just a decision maker. Making decisions among viable options. No. This podcast is part of the counterculture effort to seek and create content that builds on ideas that do not destroy the planet and its creatures. Dear friends, our highly conflicted world today calls for more than that. It calls for more than just passive selection of options. Imagine this. You are given two choices on your screen. One is a photo of children playing. No threats, no fears, no stressful expectations. The other photo is that of a highly stressed protagonist in a highly challenging environment. In our world today, this latter photo is the one that sells. The idea of overcoming challenges rather than the existence of harmony is the addiction we have been taught to crave. Because we have been taught that our lives will be filled with conflict and we need to be tough all the time. Almost as a religious practice, what I do is I Google peace and development, social justice, or harmony, and I become also an active seeker and not just a passive chooser. In fact, I seek more content about the things I'm not passively served. I research about journal entries, books, and essays on things that have been obscured by the content creation industry, who are also victims of the information push that are related to human conflict. In reality, we do not understand human conflict enough because we don't pay enough attention to harmony and peace. Often, when there are conflicts, we think they are always negative, but some conflicts are positive. And when we see those conflicts, our first instinct is to study our enemies rather than study ourselves. The great author W.E.B. Du Bois said, "Preparation for war is the cause of war." And in this society, we seem to be constantly prepared for war. We observe keenly and consume much of both facts and fiction on the horrors of the world, but pay very little attention on how conflicts are managed within harmonious cultures. Harmony isn't even present within ourselves sometimes. And harmony doesn't get too many memes except in children's books. And the content on people's striving for peace and understanding among, say, African nations do not get shared a lot. Yet, if we really have the power to choose as adults, we are still suspending our choices to realize our fairy tales. Because most of us do not strive to expand our choices or create new ones. What we do is watch in pain and horror, and we are getting good at it. And in that way, we prepare for war. There is a saying, if you ever crown a clown as king, he doesn't become a king. Instead, the palace becomes a circus. So if you put a wounded, traumatized social media warrior in heaven, even heaven becomes a war zone. Imagine in what paradise we were put on earth, and what kind of humans transform this planet into this world of persistent violence. Our challenge is to become seekers, to be mindful of our mind maps and how our worldview depends on developing skills and ideas, on building palaces of peace and harmony. I'm thinking maybe if you put a homemaker in a circus, she can do wonders. We need to build the planet as our home to sustain life on Earth.